This project has been kind of my constant companion over the pandemic, and I feel really lucky that I've had this particular work to do because it's been something that I could do alone, largely. Three Voices is a very large-scale piece for three equal voices, but it was intended to be performed by a single soprano, accompanied by her own pre-recorded sounds. I think the key to understanding Three Voices is really two questions. The first is, why did Morton Feldman choose to set this particular text and to set it the way that he does? And the second question is, why or how is this piece not a choral piece? The text that Morton Feldman uses in Three Voices is a poem by a dear friend of his, Frank O'Hara. It's actually a really short little poem, but there's a lot packed into it. I think that the reason that Feldman was attracted to this poem was that it really speaks about the idea of artistic maturity and the power of the artistic impulse. In this poem, Frank O'Hara compares this wonderful image of a little boy and a teddy bear watching snow falling in a snow globe to the idea of the power of the snow outside the window falling to the ground. He describes this falling snow as being evil, and I think he means that it has such a chaotic power that in effect it has this evil quality. Feldman uses only two fragments of this already very short poem, Who'd Have Thought That Snow Falls, and Nothing Ever Fell. That's the entire text of a 70-minute long piece. What's really remarkable is that he doesn't use any text at all for the first 30 minutes of the piece. And suddenly, 30 minutes in, he kind of asks this question or remarks in wonder, who'd have thought that snow falls? And I think what he's really expressing is this feeling of wonder at the power of the artistic impulse. It's this, who'd have thought that snow falls? And so, like, the first 30 minutes of the piece is just this kind of, And I think that's really incredible. The second question, Feldman talked about how he felt the piece was kind of a dialogue between three people, one of whom was himself, and two were his friends who had passed away, Frank O'Hara and the painter Philip Guston. So in his imagination, it was these sort of two voices from the grave, and his voice. And of course, because those people were not there and he was not speaking out loud, all of this is happening in the imagination. To me, it's like having a single voice singing all of those lines in a way sort of reinforces the power of that single voice. The orchestral idea of having yourself, your ego, your voice reinforced over and over again, it's a very kind of powerful, centering concept. I conceived this project when I was looking forward to my 40th birthday in the distance, and I was thinking what would be cool to do to kind of mark this milestone. And so this theme of artistic maturation, artistic power that I found in Feldman's piece really seemed appropriate to me. And I wanted to really delve into this idea of maturing as an artist. I was able to really investigate what that meant to me, what that meant to my voice and my body. As it so happened, I ended up becoming pregnant. And so through this whole process of recording and editing, I've also been experiencing pregnancy and now the beginning of motherhood. So it's been a really important way to sort of stay anchored in my voice and my body and my identity as a singer. I think the biggest challenge for anyone in this piece is stamina. Vocal stamina for sure, but I think much more than that, it's just mental stamina, is being able to stay focused. There's a considerable amount of repetition in the piece, and in a piece that is as long as this one, when there's a lot of repetition, it repeats for a long time. And then, of course, when you're recording, you do 2 or 3 or many takes of each section, and time just stops. And so my experience recording it was really quite a meditation. It became so that nothing existed except for the next note that I was going to sing. I wasn't aware of my surroundings or myself or my extraneous thoughts. And it was really this kind of suspension of the spirit. Morton Feldman is often sort of lumped in with minimalists, but in fact his music is not really minimalist at all. There is a lot of repetition in his later works like this one, but nothing ever really repeats exactly. Rather, we hear this kind of shifting texture of moving motives that never stops in any one place. I mean, I think that that's kind of how he weaves this magic through the piece. Feldman really changes the way that we experience time and that we experience art through time. And I think that that's really his greatest innovation.